I'm particularly thrilled to be speaking here in this context, is that Diana and Andrew have seen fit to look at Charlotta Solomon's work as part of the many beautiful artists' books that they've been so familiar with and so important in producing and promoting over the years. And so I want to speak about this book tonight in that context with you and to you. The artist's book that we're going to be looking at tonight is has the narrative fascination of other artists' books, but it's really of itself. There's nothing else quite like it. And I'm going to try to tell you what I mean by that in a minute. The work itself is called, the title is Life, ? Or Theater, ? and Operetta. So right away you know you're in a different kind of book, as it were, or even work. And this is how this work was composed. It was composed in 1942 by a German Jewish artist who was a refugee in southern France. I just want to remind you that 1942 was the single worst year in all 5,000 plus years of Jewish history. So to find any work of art from someone in that year gives it a certain weight that I hope you'll see in the work itself. She was a German Jewish artist. She was in her early 20s when she painted this work as a refugee. And from the perspective of 1942 in France, she's looking back on her life and her family's life in Germany from 1917 when she was born, through the 1920s, the 1930s, the rise of the Nazis, and then her exile in France. But every scene you're going to see is basically a retrospective on a past that she has already left behind and is remembering. The scenes that she painted are not 3 or 4 or 300, such as are in the museum right now, but 1,300, all of which she painted in the course of a little more than a year. And each of them is about this size, and as you'll see, they're quite intricate in themselves. What makes this artist's book unlike most is that it's really a performance piece. The scenes have not only what Andrew was describing, a kind of quality of a movie which goes on and leads you onward, but the scenes themselves have dialogues and soliloquies indicated. They are organized into acts. They have fictionally named characters. They have monologues. They have voiceover narration. They have music indicated that you're supposed to hear in your mind's ear. You're supposed to hear an entire score in your mind's ear as you're looking at the painting. So when you move into the work of Charlotta Salomon and into her world, you're really entering a multimedia extravaganza. It's a spectacle that is quite unusual. Now, one way you could look at this is as the first graphic novel, or you could say that this is the first comic operetta, because it is a comic operetta about a world historical tragedy, or you could say that this is the first truly large-scale multimedia autobiography. And one is hard put to think whether you've seen anything else, any of us have seen anything else quite like this in the history of art, to say nothing of the history of memoir.